Alright, I just want to make this and share this to whoever can listen to it, but this is more of a therapeutic thing because I don't really have anybody to talk to about this exclusively. I understand that people think it's taboo that I'm not as promiscuous as they deem me to be. Sure, I look better above average and stuff like that, and my behavior and what I speak about would probably allude to somebody who would actually do things like that, but more or less, I'm very thankful that I learned a lot of these things to treat, the opposite gender as something that's a lot more delicate, and to understand them, to know that it's not really worth doing all of that, It's a waste of time for both parties. It's more of a benefit for the other, because they're like low ROI from my understanding. But I do, there's a lot of reasons for it. For one, I think it's the most honorable thing to do. I don't really have a drive to do any of that. People can debate it's low testosterone, but with everything that I know about it, it's really not worth it. On top of that, it's a sign of self-respect as well, I found out, and I guess that would be dealt with my ego. I don't really want somebody to represent me in any other kind of way of how they carry themselves, and yeah, it could be fun and it's nice to have, but that's kind of out of the window, because, it's just like self-entitlement and delusion, and there's no certainty that this investment would last a long time. But, yeah, I understand for why people would be prejudiced as in for how I carry myself in a lot of ways, everybody will judge somebody, but it's fine. I know myself, what my intentions are. I let people just run loose and do what they want, and I'll just try to be a supportive, person for it. With me understanding I'm supposed to have a kid by 35 to 36, that makes me a little bit more better, level-minded, just because that allows me to have some room, and it's not a good idea to have a kid right now for political reasons and economics and stuff like that, where the world's going. Like, cryptocurrency is already doing shit. It was supposed to do shit, crash in 2026. We're already getting some early signs for that. 2027, that's when the reset's supposed to take place. Some Project Bluebeam type stuff. 2028 should be better for a lot of people. So it's going to be a hiccup by the end of this year, the next 2 years, for a lot of things. Even when it comes to politics too. The whole Charlie Kirk thing is pretty wild. Just people falling for that, if Barron Trump, that book was written for the last president and everything is predicted to happen, then more or less all the events that are taking place to make people emotional and stuff is predicted as well. So pay attention, and people are going to realize certain patterns, but that's not to really discuss. More or less, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, or quote-unquote excuses, if everybody wants to deem me to be a liar or somebody pessimistic. No, I'm just actually very calm, and I think it's a good idea to be more isolated for a very long time, just because I think it's safer for myself. The fact of numerology being a thing as well, with psychological patterns and stuff like that. Really excited for this conference meeting. I really want to learn a lot of things because I'm definitely not learning them anywhere around here. Yeah, so workplace is definitely not something to be around. The majority of people, inherently, their IQ average is 83, and everybody else just runs off at their own, cynical means of studying whatever else there is. Not really into divination or politics, and I do have this ego for me believing that everything that I see is right, not just because of the internet, but because I see with my own eyes, and that could be crazy, I guess. But yeah, so I guess this is more therapeutic. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and yeah, there's something wrong with me because I don't want to fuck whores. Welcome to America. They don't understand how delicate a woman's body is. They don't understand how disrespectful and how much of a waste of time it is for a man to go and do that. It's better to harness your energy and focus than to exert it on something that's not going to be certain. That's a lot of emotional energy, especially for me. Some people just don't give a fuck. And then you ever DNA a bunch of women, which the offsprings are going to be fucked up, and that goes into biology. I'm not going to talk about that, but it's not a good thing for society. But that's just where we are today. So, with me knowing what I know, it's best to just not get involved. You know, very sexist, that some would say. I would be considered as that under a lens of, you know, a certain group of people. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. For the fact that I've seen nothing but the truth of things. I'll close it with this. Ask a lady what she wants in a man, and she'll lie and tell you certain things, but then the truth is she wants a sanctuary, because she can't really do that herself. A good example are porn stars that made it. Now they're back in the industry. They're not really for that. Some women are. It's not absolute, but a majority, they need that. Some women will work every day. Some women have inheritance. Some have to do that because they're a byproduct of feminism. They think it's the way to go, and it's really not. But we're all set up in this whole game. I'm just pointing out what the issue is, and I think patriarchy is a good thing. If you want to do work, I think it'd be best if, you know, it'd be more of a hobby than extensive labor. I don't think there should be extensive labor because that's more of a masculine role. But it's just my opinion, I guess, right? I don't think they should be working. I think they should just be in a safe place to relax and do what they want to do. I don't think that's a bad proposal at all. I think they should be protected and taken care of, not in a workplace. I think that's actually not that. Somehow that's terrible, but I think, you know, yeah, they should be protected and doing what they love, and there's nothing wrong about that, I guess. Well, I guess it's terrible. That's sexist, but I don't know. It's my belief. There we go. I post this on YouTube. Subscrizzle if you see this. This is therapeutic. Little you can do to work on yourself. Don't work hard on your job. Work hard on yourself. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing if you left your job and held the same value because you learned a bunch of skills? Shout out to Jim Rohn. You can't change the weather, but you can change yourself. And you can make money off of numerology on the stock market and betting tickets. It's all predictive. I'm gonna make this go at full length, I guess. Astrology wasn't even used for like people as much as people think it was. It was really used for calendar dates. You know, when to make moves and stuff, when they would watch the stars and the moons and all that. Astrologers, right? The best example I can give is this. I always give this, but I think this should sum it up. When Christopher Columbus came to North America, he told the Native Americans, "Give me your shit, or my God will take away your son." So they're like, "Nah, we don't believe you." 1 or 2 days later, a solar eclipse happened to where the natives were like, "Oh shit, his God take away our son." Then he had power over them. The reason why that happened is because Christopher Columbus knew about astrology. That's just how it would have been used, but it's usually used for when to make moves in the kingdom and stuff like that, calendar dates and all that. So that's long lost occult knowledge, and people get scared of occult because the word cult is in it, and I think it's dealt with the devil. But we go back in history, like in Orthodox religions, they were sacrificing things, so it's like, yeah, don't do that no more. Maybe because they twisted it when Jezebel started sacrificing babies to a demon named Baal. They're like, why are we killing babies? As a result, it never rained. But yeah, and then it gets further into where I think it was Jesus took like an ox or some shit, sacrificed it, and it started to rain or some crap like that. I don't know, but really interesting. You know, especially with Baal being a deity. King Solomon, who wrote one of the books in the Bible, he understood how to use demons and how to talisman ring and all that kind of stuff. And you can begin to ask the question, like, what more did he did? And it goes into technology, as in for how it can tell secrets of the past, present, and future. And then when you say lumos in Latin to an iPhone, the iPhone light turns on. And sigils look awfully similar to circuits. You know, in some etymology, I don't remember the language, but techmo means like technology is techmo, and techmo means to bend, like wick and Wiccan. witchcraft. So every day we're using witchcraft or metaphysical tools like this camera right here and all those things. And we lost speaking about it. And Gary Greenberg was right. The only thing that we have left to do is to do right by our family and to travel as much as we can, because that's a moral right of being a human being, to experience this life as much as you possibly can. Cultures and stuff like that, seeing different things. That's true richness, is traveling and experiencing new things. Otherwise it's not a life worth living, you know. So yeah, that's all for now. Thank you.